Preparing live stream.
Now streaming live on Facebook.
Yes. It's got a little lag here. Okay, let's see. All right, everybody. Super. Ooh.
Now streaming live on Facebook.
Yeah, let's get this back part cut off here. Hold on one second, everybody.
Got a little lag here. Okay, let's see.
I got a lag, Scott. Todd, give me a second. Okay. All right, everybody. Super fired up and excited. I apologize for the technical difficulties. For those of you guys who are just chiming in, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. We're going to get this training started. I am just jacked out of my mind, excited about this day. It's been leading up here for a couple of weeks. And I mean, I tell you what, guys, it's a privilege and a complete honor just to bring this training with you all tonight. Just to let you guys know, for those of you guys who are just getting on here, this training is for everybody in the industry of direct sales, network marketing. It's not a company specific training, but I had the privilege and honor of speaking to a powerhouse just a few short weeks ago. You know, somebody who's been my mentor from books and mentor from videos for a few years now. And I reached out to him because of a particular book that he had. And we're going to talk about that here today as well. But I felt that was a benefit to my team. And when I reached out to him, I was just, I felt like I hit the Powerball when this man messaged me back. And we got on the phone and we started talking. And, he actually volunteered to be able to come and do this specific training tonight. And I'm excited because it was supposed to be a training that was exclusive to my team. And whenever I asked him if we could share it with the world, because he has such a big heart, because he has such an amazing heart of helping people all around the world in the industry of direct sales and network marketing, he said, let's do it. So I am excited as I introduce this person to the line to do this training with me on tonight. And I'm going to tell you, he's the amazing father of his wife, Carla. He has two phenomenal children, Gianni and Joey. And I'm just going to tell you, he got started in this industry at the young age of 22. And I really wish I got started that young, but he got started at the young age of 22 years old. And over the course of the last 25 years, he has built companies in the hundreds of thousands of distributors. And what I love so much about this man is about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago, he decided that he wanted to dedicate his time to helping people create network marketing success. And in doing so, he's traveled to over 25 countries, training audiences in the amounts of over 10,000 people per audience at one time. He is the author of some phenomenal books, some books that have helped a lot of us, you, me, and everybody that in this industry of network marketing. One of my favorite books that he has is known as The Little Black Book of Scripts. One of my most recent favorites that I reached out to him about is Fearless Networking. He's also written books such as Insider Secrets of Recruiting Professionals and How to Win in the Game of Prospecting, so much more. But what I love so much about this man is his consistency, as he has held the longest network marketing training call on Monday nights, where you guys get emails from him, listening to his live dials, his trainings, just the phenomenal information that he pours into us for the last 15 years. You guys have seen him all over the stages of Eric Worre's Go Pro for probably about the last 8 or 9 years, training on that stage, also training on the ANMP training stages for that. But he is known as the hottest trainer. And I said it, the hottest trainer, because when you hear what he's going to drop on you tonight, you're going to understand why we say that when it comes to MLM development and success. And he's just a real guy, just like you and I. He loves to surf, he loves to swim, he loves his family, he loves his kids, and he loves fishing. So I have the privilege and honor of actually introducing my mentor from afar, the mentor to millions. Those of you that know him as the Mr. Little Black Book of Scripts, Mr. Fearless Networking, none other than Mr. Todd Falcone. So Todd, I am just super excited that you're on this training call with us tonight. How are you doing from Las Vegas tonight?
I am doing fantastic. Candace, how you doing?
Todd, I tell you what, I couldn't say it any easier. Besides, I feel like I hit the Powerball and the Mega Millions on the same day.
Well, we had a little technical glitch at the beginning, but we got it figured out. So that's good. It's great to be here with you.
Great to be here with you. So Todd, I know your time is very valuable. I know you're out in Las Vegas right now supporting the most powerful women in network marketing. So as we kick this training off, Todd, I want the guests on here to know a little bit more about Todd Falcone. Like, give them a little gist of why you got started in network marketing, how it came through, and what you've seen between the ups and downs, the fears and the frustrations over the last 25 plus years.
Yeah, for sure. I started in network marketing literally right out of college. I'd never heard of multi-level marketing or network marketing. Didn't know what an entrepreneur was. I just wanted to be successful in life. I think everybody probably wants to have a good life, right? And I was going to college, getting ready to graduate at the marketing department at Long Beach State, and some guy called me out of the blue for what I thought was a job interview and used a script on me. And he said, hey, my name is Jim. I'm calling you from Orange County Marketing Group. We're a marketing company. We're looking for people that can train and manage others in the expansion of our company. We'd love to talk to you. And I thought, wow, okay, cool. So I get all excited. I drive down to Irvine, California, show up at this building, 18201 Von Carmen, Suite 610. Funny thing is that's the exact address. And that was almost 28 years ago. And I actually was there a couple of weeks ago. I was in Irvine I had to go to that building. I was like, this is the building where it all started. I took a friend of mine there. Unfortunately, I had to go there for a funeral, but I was there with a buddy of mine that I hadn't seen for 15 years. And I went, this is where it all started right here. And I walked in and I thought I was going to a job interview and they brought us in this room with a bunch of chairs and they gave us what was a business opportunity presentation, which I didn't even know I was getting. I thought this is a weird interview. Do we do group interviews now? And it's like, I mean, that's how so naive I was, right? And so I sat there and I watched the presentation, and it was for a company that's still in existence today. And it made sense to me. I saw no boss. We have this product that there's a need in the marketplace for the product. We can buy it from the company at wholesale, sell it at retail, make a retail profit. Build a team, earn a percentage on everything that they do. And I thought, what the heck's not to get about this? This makes sense. No boss, unlimited earnings. I don't even know if I quite frankly saw unlimited earnings. I think I could only see to about 10 grand a month, kind of like the world was flat back in the day, right? And because I thought, man, if you get to $10,000 a month, you must have made it, right?
Right.
And I gave them $500, maxed out my college credit card at one purchase. They loaned me another $500 with they had a thing called a convenience charge. And I borrowed another $500 at 28.99% interest to start my network marketing business back in the day, and went home, called my mom and said, Mom, I found my career path. And she was the first point of resistance that I got. She's told me I was crazy. I was nuts. I was doing a pyramid scheme. And if I go do that cult, I'm going to make you pay back every last dollar of the college education I just paid for. But I did it anyway. First couple of years, I struggled pretty, financially. I learned a lot the first 2 years. Unbelievable entrepreneur education. I went to a lot of events, a lot of seminars, a lot of trainings. I learned a lot. My mindset was shifting, but I was running out of runway and I ran out of cash, which I didn't have to begin with. I managed to survive my first 2 years. Moved home, had to cut up my credit cards, go live in my mom's house, in the bunk beds in my mom's house. Who told me that thing's never going to work if you do that. I mean, think about it. Now she thinks she's won because I've just had to move home and live in the bunk beds and regroup. Right. And try dating in bunk beds. It's not really easy, but that's another story. And I ended up, I found a network marketing company very quickly within the next 2 or 3 months. I had to have my check and my auto shipped to a friend's house because if my mom found out I was doing it under her roof, I'd get kicked out and I couldn't afford that. So I was literally leaving the house with a roll of quarters to go prospect by a payphone. We didn't even have cell phones back then. And I built the business with a little bit more mature of an attitude, part-time, kept my job. Didn't overextend myself. I'll fast forward. It was my fourth year that the first 2 years I failed. I did it part-time for 2 years. I got to my fourth full year, not full-time, but fourth full year in network marketing is the first time I earned a $10,000 monthly residual check. And then it didn't happen just one time. It continued to come in. And I ended up going full-time in network marketing. During my active career as a distributor, I built 6 companies to virtually the top of the compensation plan in every single one of those companies. People ask me, well, why 6, Todd? Well, I don't know. Companies made weird decisions and I had to move, and, some companies went out of business and things happen. But the thing is, when you have the skills and you have the know-how, it doesn't matter what company you're building. You shouldn't be in a position, I don't think, where this is the only deal I could build. You got to acquire the skills and the know-how and the knowledge. So if something were to happen, we don't want it to happen. It'd be great if you could be in just one company until the end of time. But if it were to happen, you could go, hey, no problem. I can go build something else. So I built 6 different companies. And then, I never planned on being a speaker and a trainer. It just happened that way. Somebody asked me after I spent 11 years with one company, went out of business. A guy called me up and he said, hey, you want to come and speak at my event? And I was like, I don't know. Why do you want me to speak at your event? He said, well, why don't you just come in and talk about prospecting, how you build your business. So I did. One thing led to another. Now it's been I think 13 or 14 years that I've been speaking full time. I've spoken now in 28 countries to audiences. I think the biggest audience I've spoken in front of was last November in Egypt. I spoke to about 12,000 people.
Wow. Holy Toledo Batman. Well, I will tell you this, Todd, it's completely understandable why you are such a sought after trainer in this industry of direct sales, network marketing, just in the training of MLM altogether. But, one thing that you said to me that I picked up real quick was what I've noticed in network marketing is a lot of people think that as soon as you get in, you see immediate success. But as you were telling your story, your 10K, your $100,000 year pretty much came at your fourth year. So in between year one or the beginning and year four, what was the biggest thing? Because I notice a lot of people in this industry get frustrated because they hear a lot of people say, give it 3 to 5 years for you to start making a substantial income. And they forget that 3 to 5 years. So what did you see in your first 4 years as a frustration and a stopping point that Todd Falcone said, you know what, I'm still not going to stop. I'm going to keep going?
I don't know if it was naivete or inexperience or brilliance. Honestly, I really don't. I don't think it was brilliance. I just came in and I didn't know anything about being an entrepreneur. I've always been hardworking. The concept made sense to me. And I thought, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to figure this out. I mean, if that guy can do it over there, I'm going to get it figured out. And I think, being able to exercise patience while you're along the journey, I think it's really important. We're so programmed in terms of how we make money. Work 2 weeks, you get a check, work 2 weeks, you get a check, work 2 weeks, you get a check. And then here in network marketing, you might work a month and not get a check, and another month and not get a check, and so on. So a lot of people get, when you overpromise and underdeliver on your own expectations, which is pretty commonplace, you get frustrated and discouraged. When you get frustrated and discouraged, most people quit. I don't know. I just saw network marketing. There was something about it. When I saw that first business opportunity presentation, it made sense to me. And I thought, man, I'm going to get this figured out. And I was working hard. And there were days, trust me, when I went home and I was literally crawling up in a ball crying. Why is this not happening for me? What's wrong with me? Why is it happening for that guy over there? Why are other people, beating the pants off of me? And we're always comparing ourselves to other people. And it's, sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes, most of the time, it's probably not very healthy. But, we have our own journey that we're on. But even if, as I say, don't compare yourselves to other people, you're probably still going to compare. We always do. That person's got a better body than I do. Oh my gosh, they've got a better house. They've got this, that, or the other. This is what we do, And I don't know if there's anything wrong with it, but I just think, we're all on our own path, our own journey. Some people are faster than others. Some people come in. Just here at this weekend, the most powerful women in networking event, I've had conversations with people that had never done network marketing, and a year into their first ever network marketing company, making $1 million a year. And it's like, wow. It took me 4 years just to make 100. If you allow somebody else's story to dictate your future behavior, there's going to be a challenge. I just think your willingness to stick to something. If you can talk, if you can carry on a conversation, if you can engage people in a chat, and you got work ethic, you'll make it in this business. Not to say you don't. You got work to do. You got to work on yourself, and you got to work on your skills. But everything that we do in the business is learnable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's what I want to ask you, Todd, because I know you're super busy. You're out there supporting the other most powerful women, which I'm super excited about that. I have to catch my Airstream live to catch up with it. But as you were building a business, what are the biggest tips, tricks, or even techniques that you would share with the audience tonight as to, what they need to start doing to either recruit more people, or what is the actual tip that they would be able to take away from here, go home and implement it and start seeing some success? So give us some of the Todd Falcone strategy.
All right. So, I've incorporated every possible recruiting strategy that you can imagine, from the very traditional write down a list and go, use your memory jogger and start talking to those people and don't prejudge and all of that. And that's all very important as part of the process. Eventually you build a business for a little bit, you end up kind of running out of people to talk to or running out of warm market, and we're recreating new warm market. So I was, and I think a lot of network marketers get into this position where you've got to find other people to talk to. And I've quickly found the only warm market person I sponsored early on was my, high school friend, Tom Bennett. And all my other friends thought I was crazy and nuts and stupid. And they wanted to paint houses and wash windows, and I didn't want to do any of that stuff. And so I worked through that center of influence, and I started way back in the day. I was running advertising. I was running advertising in 1989, 1990 in newspapers in Southern California. And then I got into working leads, and I worked leads for a long time, and I did really well working leads. But you also have to understand, like, there's such a massive sorting process with that. And then one day I was sitting at my desk. I was living in Monterey, California. I remember this day. I'm sitting there, and it was just one of those days. It was a really bad day of prospecting. I was doing well. I think I was making $15,000, $20,000 a month, something like that. And, I wasn't suffering, but I just had one of those bad days of prospecting. Like, everybody I talked to couldn't even talk. Like, they were awful. Like, you get to a point where, like, when you just, I don't know, maybe it's like, I don't know, I'd say I don't have patience for people that I can't even have a conversation, but it's like, I'm a talent scout. That's what we are. We're looking for people who can do what we do. And I was just like, man, where's all the good people at? Where's, like, the people that, like, I want to talk to quality people. And I was sitting there, and there was a Homes and Land magazine right over here on my desk. And I picked it up, and I was like, oh, realtors, right? And I started kind of going through there, and I'm like, well, shoot, every realtor I've ever talked to sounds pretty sharp. I mean, they make money on commissions. They work hard. They work on the weekends. They're independent people. They don't have a boss. And I just picked up the phone. I called this lady. I don't remember what I said, but I tried to say something, and she was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, that script doesn't work. Let me try to say something a little bit different. And then I made another call to a male real estate agent. I changed what I said, and he said yes, that he was open to taking a look at an opportunity outside of what he was doing. And then I made another phone call to another female agent that night, and she said yes. So 2 out of 3 people on this, like, test out night said yes. And I wrapped up my day. I got up the next morning, and I started going through the Homes and Land magazine and bumbling and dry mouth, and like I'm like full-time network marketer. I'm getting cotton mouth because I'm so nervous talking to these people because it's new, and trying to figure out what am I going to say to get them to say yes. And I kept working and refining and revising this peak interest script. It actually took me about 6 years to get the script down to, or the peak interest question down to what I still use to this day, and I'll share it with your listeners here in a minute. But I started recruiting a lot of people in real estate, mortgage, and outside sales. And it was fun because everybody I talked to, they sounded great. And even if they said no to me, they still sounded great. And I had sideline and upline and downline people asking me, hey, where are you getting all these people? How are you getting all these professionals? What are you doing? And I honestly, I didn't tell anybody what I was doing for several years because we'd done a lot of advertising, and we had, like, blown out ad co-ops where we were generating a lot of really good quality leads. And then the co-op grew and grew and grew. And then because it grew so large, the lead quality diminished, and then it just totally imploded on itself. So it was kind of like, I don't know, the secret sauce or whatever. You don't want somebody to, it's like, I don't know, if you got some unique advantage in the marketplace, most companies aren't going to share their dirty little secret and how they do it. But I ultimately, what I did is I went to the U.S. Department of Labor's website, and I looked at all the career categories that I was calling into, and I was like, man, I can't outfish this market. I mean, there's so many millions of people moving in and through these career categories that it can't be outfished. So that's where I think it was about 9-10 years ago, actually, after I was a speaker, because my friend Anthony was begging me to teach him how to recruit professionals. I ended up producing a course called the Insider Secrets to Recruiting Professionals Home Study Course, which still to this day is one of my very top selling training programs, which teaches this whole methodology of recruiting up. But in fact, here's the thing. Our natural tendency as network marketers is to go down the socioeconomic chain. We perceive it to be easier to go after our broke friends and family than successful people. Think about it. When you're brand new in network marketing, you're just getting started. It's a whole lot easier, and at least it seems like it's a lot less intimidating to go talk to somebody who's our buddy, right? Who cares if my buddy blows me out? But the super successful person that I know, oh, the chicken list, right? We all have the chicken list. Like the people on your chicken list are not the broke buddies. They're the rich people, the successful, the influencers, which are actually the people you should be going to. And so what we think is the path of least resistance going down the socioeconomic chain is actually the path of greatest resistance, because your broke friends and family, they go, oh, if it's so good, why don't you pay my way in? Or I'm skeptical. How much money are you making? Show me your check. You just don't get that from successful people until you go up the socioeconomic chain once. You don't know what you're missing. And I'm just really adamant for people like, look, this is a business that requires some social skills. It requires work ethic. It requires a lot of, stick-to-itiveness, resilience. I mean, there's a lot of things that it requires in order to be successful in this business. And, the willingness for somebody to work independently and not be forced or told that they have to go do something. And, it became, this method of recruiting up became my favorite, I would say my favorite cold market way of prospecting people outside of my initial warm market, which eventually we all get through our initial kind of warm market list. And it's like, what's next, right? And in fact, I don't know if I can do this. This will be interesting. I'll do a little test because I can see a bunch of people that are live right now on the Facebook page. Okay, so check this out. So here's what I want. I'll do a quick little litmus test, and because here's the thing, you guys are all missing out on opportunities that are literally underneath your nose, and you don't even know you're missing out on them. You literally have opportunities under your nose, and you don't even know you're missing out on them. So here's the thing that I'm going to do, and I've done this test enough times, I already know what the answers are. Number one is if you think it's at all possible that within the last 7 days, okay, here's the first ridiculous question. Let me back up. The first ridiculous question, I already know what the answer is do you own a cell phone? So in the comments, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, which there's a whole lot of people, I can see you, a lot of people, holy smokes. If you have a cell phone, which I already know what the answer is, just type the word phone in the comments. Just type the word phone. Just bear with me and do this, would you? Okay, so I'm going to just take a quick peek. I got to turn the volume down on that. All right, phone. Of course, I know it's ridiculous. I know, just bear with me. Cool, I got it. And if you don't have a phone, you can say no phone, but I don't think anybody's going to say no phone. So, all right, now here's the second question. That if you think it's at all possible that within the last 7 days of you living your life, taking the kids to and from school, running errands, going from here to there, going to the grocery store, doing what we do in life, if you think it's at all possible, remotely possible, that you've driven by any for sale sign for any piece of real estate anywhere, type in the word real estate or the words real estate. That means just is it possible? Is it feasible that you drove by a for sale sign, living your life? I see real estate. And if it's no, just type in no real estate. I mean, that way we can see the difference between the answers, the yes and the no answers. Okay, I see real estate. All right, I already know the answer to this one. It's pretty obvious that most of us have, right? Now here's the third and final question. Did you actually call the realtor and introduce him to your business? Yes or no? If it's yes, type in yes. If it's no, type in no. No. I don't know. I don't see a yes yet. I'm waiting for the comments. Nope. Let's see. Hold on. Is there a yes? Is there any yes? I don't see a yes yet. So, okay, now I already know the answer. I already know the answer to that because I've done this enough times. Here's the deal. Most people don't look at that and go, is that an opportunity? And so what I learned to do a long time ago is to operate from a state of expanded awareness and start to look at something and go, is that an opportunity? Who knows? I mean, is there potential right there? And so let me teach you something. I'll teach you this approach real quick, and it's going to be a heightened level of awareness for you, which is going to cause you to look at something differently tomorrow or just even later, right after we're finished with this. And that is, I'll tell you, the best way for me to do it is just quickly tell it to you in story format. So years ago, I was living in Sammamish, Washington. I'm coming back from a national conference that I was at. I'd been gone for 3 or 4 days. My mailbox is full because that's what happens when you don't check your mail for a few days. And my refrigerator's empty because I emptied it before I left, and I know that I needed to get fresh fruits and veggies, right? So I park my bag, get into my car. I leave my house. As I'm leaving my house, I'm driving out of the neighborhood, and like within a half a mile of me leaving my neighborhood, I see a for sale sign and I'm looking for this, and I see the for sale sign, and I don't just drive right on by it. I pull over. And I don't have it's in my briefcase, but I have a yellow pad and pen that I keep wedged between my center console and my seat for this purpose. It's still there. I always keep a yellow pad and pen in my car at all times. I'm driving by this house. I pull over. I write the realtor's name and phone number down on a piece of paper, and I press the gas on it. I pull out my phone, and I just make the phone call. Ring, ring. Good afternoon. This is Jan. I go, hey, Jan, Todd Falcone here. I was just driving by your listing here in Beaver Lake Estate. She's like, oh my gosh, fantastic. Are you interested in home? I said, well, it's a beautiful home. I actually live in the neighborhood. I'm calling you for a very simple reason. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the process of expanding my business here locally. I love working with people in the real estate community. And I have a very simple question for you, Jen, and that is, do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a real estate professional? And what are we looking for? All we're doing is looking to open up an opportunity or flip a rock over and ask a simple question. And she says, as a matter of fact, I do. Well, at that point, You know what to do. You're going to get them whatever information you get them, however you get it to them for your whatever opportunity that you're in, right? So now again, remember, now understand something. I want you to pay very, very close attention. I am on an errand running session. I'm not sitting at my desk in primary. I'm like this. I'm running errands. Like I'm going to the grocery store. When most people are just, they like turn their business off and then they go to the grocery store. My business is on all the time. So I make that phone call, and it's like 8-minute drive to maybe 10 minutes max to this little center where my grocery store, my post office and stuff is. So I make that phone call. I pull up to the shopping center, a little strip center. It's about 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm dragging a little bit. So I go in the local coffee shop and I order myself a green tea. And while I'm waiting for the green tea, there's a cork board. Have you ever seen those cork boards? And like, right? So there's a cork board. And I look at it, and I don't just look at the cork board. I look at what am I looking for? I'm looking for there's a realtor. Oh, there's a personal fitness trainer. Oh, there's a mortgage person. I grab the 3 business cards. I put them in my pocket. I get my green tea. I go next door to my mailbox place. I grab my mail, and then I walk about 50 yards over to where my grocery store is, grab the grocery cart. I start shopping, and I'm cruising through it, put my mail where my kid would be sitting, but I don't have my kid with me, and I'm grocery shopping. And then a couple minutes later, I realize I'm on my grocery cart. There's an advertisement right where your kid's back would be pressed up against the grocery cart is an ad. And it's State Farm Insurance, and this guy and his name is Greg, and I literally pull my phone out, and I call him, and I go, can I speak with Greg, please? I'm in the grocery store, errand running, right? And good afternoon, can I speak with Greg? Oh, hold on, please. Transfers me to Greg. I said, he goes, hey, this is Greg. I said, Greg, Todd Falcone. I said, hey, man, listen, I'm looking at your smiling face between my tomatoes and my eggs. And he's like, oh, and we both got a giggle because it was literal. Like I had my eggs and my tomatoes like kind of right next to one another because you don't want to smash either one of them. And I said, listen, if you're running this ad, you're obviously looking to grow your State Farm business. I'm an entrepreneur. I love working with super successful people. And I just have a very simple question for you. Do you at all keep your options open in terms of making any money outside of what you're currently doing as a State Farm agent? And he said, well, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, well, great. Is it possible that we get together on Monday or Tuesday of next week? I see your office is pretty close to my house. And I think it was like the following Tuesday. I booked the appointment while I was in the grocery store. And by the way, that guy, Greg, when I met with him, I sat down with him for about an hour. I think it was Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., if I recall correctly. I ended up signing him up on the spot into my business. Now, does it happen like that every single time? Like this one call deal? Did he become a mega #1 producer in my business? No, but he was a great customer for many, many years. He brought me a bunch of other people. And yeah, I'm sure he was probably responsible for tens of thousands of dollars in volume in my organization. Not mega volume, but I mean, had I not flipped that rock over, I would never got anything. Now let's back up for a second. I'm still in the grocery store. I made that phone call. I get in my car, throw the groceries in the car. I'm driving home. And what do I have in my pocket? I got 3 cards in my pocket. On the drive home, I called the personal fitness trainer, the mortgage person, and the realtor. And 2 out of those 3 said yes to me. So on an errand running session, I'm running errands, downtime. Like so many network marketers don't even think about the crooks and crannies of their day. Like this is like these little, I made 5 phone calls on an errand running session. 4 out of 5 people said yes to me, and all 5 of them sounded amazing. So, this is just about thinking a little bit differently. I want to put good people in my business, and I want to make sure I maximize my time. I had a guy that I worked with, actually saw him at this funeral that I unfortunately had to go to a couple of weeks ago and hadn't seen him in years. This guy, Mark Weiser, he was in my downline and company. He was second level to me. And he came to me one day to tell me he was quitting, which doesn't happen. Most of the time, it just turns into a 0 on your genealogy report. They just kind of cancel and disappear. They don't call you to tell you they're canceling. They don't want to do that because then they're going to have to deal with the guilt of you trying to keep them, right?
No, they play Houdini.
Yeah, they disappear. Exactly. So Mark comes to me giving me an exit interview. I'm like, hey, that's cool. I'm like, and I thought I felt like he always had the capacity to do the business. Like if I didn't think he could do it. And I don't think network marketing is for every soul on the planet. I mean, some people are just not cut out for it. It's not social creatures. They have a hard time even having a conversation with somebody. And if you're so socially inept, that could be it's a pretty steep hill for some people. I mean, it's a social business, but I always felt that Mark was pretty good. And I go, well, talk to me. He goes, I just don't have the time for the business. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have the time? I said, well, I work 70 hours a week. I said, I got this, I'm very involved in my church, my family. I got this 2-hour commute. And I go, what? You go, what? He goes, yeah, I got a 2-hour commute. I go, you're in your car an hour a day each direction? He goes, no, man, I got 2 hours in and 2 hours back. I'm going from Riverside to Los Angeles.
Wow.
Every single day. I'm like, man, I go, what are you doing in your car? Now I understand something. This is like 1998. How much was cell phone stuff back then? It's not cheap.
No.
So I said, I go, what are you doing? He said, I'm driving. I said, listen to, he said, I'm listening to talk radio. First of all, he wasn't even listening to personal development, which I was like, what? So I said, look, brother, listen, why don't we do this? Before you quit, like, I got a plan for you. I said, I'll commit to you if you commit to me. You get your prospect list ready the night before. You print it out on big fonts so you don't get into a car accident. You call your cell phone company. You max out your minutes. You take your prospect list and you put it up on your dashboard, basically, so you can see it when you're driving, right? And you prospect on the way in and you prospect on the way home, and you bring people to me on three-way calls, and I'll help you grow a business. And we took him from nothing, making nothing, to over $10,000 a month in his vehicle.
Wow.
And just less than a year. The following year, he personally recruited over 250 people. And if you do the math, that's like over 25 people a month personally. Here's a guy that's coming to quit, giving me an exit interview. And because, I'm smart enough to kind of ask a few questions, and so are you, it's pretty easy, and help them see, the thing is, people have to look at something differently than they are now. Like a lot of times we look at a high level person and we think, oh my gosh, they know more. They must, they must have all their, what, together. Here's the thing. Let me explain something to you also. You might think what's going on in somebody's life. The exterior ain't what's real, okay?
Right.
You don't know what's going on in their personal relationships. You go to somebody's house for dinner. You go driving home with your honey, and you're like, hey, how come you don't touch me like that? You don't. They're like touching each other at dinner, and they love each other. You didn't kiss me all day today. And then like 2 weeks later, you find out that they're getting divorced.
Right.
They put on a little show for you, but the reality is different than it. So we never know anything until we ask. And the other thing is, like, people think that just because someone's successful, that they stop looking for opportunity. That all of a sudden, my door is closed. I find that successful people are more open to opportunities than, the more successful that they are than when they're just trying to figure it out. And the reason I like talking to successful people is those are the kind of people that do things. You created success in your life because you found something and you went after it. And so most of you, and I'm not going to do this quiz because I already know what the answer is to this. You didn't all come in this business because you responded to an advertisement. You came into this. Some of you might have come in because you're a lead from somebody or requested some information online or something like that. But most of you came in because somebody reached out to you, friend, acquaintance, somebody, and said, hey, listen, I've got something I want to show to you. Would you be open to taking a peek? Or whatever the peak interest question they used was, but somebody reached out to you.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this, Todd. I'm gonna go to your book, Fearless Networking, and I'm gonna talk about this book for a hot second because there's something in this book. I picked up this book and I started to read it, and I remember reaching out to you because there was so much stuff in this book that I said, hey, Todd, I said, I'm trying to be on your website right now and order some books for some of my leaders, and it wasn't helping me place the order. So I got to talking with you, but one of the biggest things that I loved in this section was the part, and I have it dog-eared, how to handle the 20 most common objections. So out of those 20 most common objections, what would you say is the number one objection that you faced in your life and that most people face? And can you share with them the script to overcome it? Because I know with this business, a lot of people stop before they can even get started because they have a fear of rejection. So how did you move into the fearless realm of saying, I don't care what people say, I'm going to give them a rebuttal to their objection? And what do you think was the number one that you faced in your time frame building the business?
Well, I think I don't have the book in front of me and I wrote it, but I'm sure from
But you wrote it on accident, right?
I wrote it on purposeful accident. It ended up being a book on accident. It was supposed to be a training aid. It is a training aid, but it turned out to be a little bit longer than I anticipated, even though I think it's only 109 pages or something. But the number one, and I just talked about it really, even by doing that teaching, is I don't have the time. So there's a number of different ways to do it. I think one of the things that we shouldn't do is we shouldn't argue with people. Sometimes maybe our prospects are expecting us to defend ourselves or argue, try to save them. When somebody says, I don't have the time, I'm like, wow. John, how does that feel having to say that? You're 45 years old and to say, I don't have the time. How does that taste coming out of your mouth? I might ask something like that. I definitely don't argue. I don't get on the defensive. I I don't say, yes, you do. You have the time. You can do it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just to be being calm and cool and collected. As far as like and I go, that particular section in that book, I go into explicit detail on overcoming objections and answering tough questions. And let's talk semantics. Like some people in network marketing, like we don't overcome. There's nothing to overcome. I'm like, let's talk about that. If you're going to get a question, you need to be able to address it. You need to be able to neutralize it. You need to be able to help them get past their fears or their hesitations. And we're not here to twist somebody's arm into doing something or make them do something. We're just here to be calm and share some information with them. And if they like what they see, but they have concerns or they have questions, that we do our best to address those things so that they feel like they're informed and they've got all the answers that they need. As far as like the funny thing is, like, my whole brand is the Fearless Networker, and I see you're wearing a Fearless t-shirt. Love it. It's not that I'm without fear. It's that I'm willing to push the fear aside long enough to get done whatever needs to get done. I mean, humans have fear. Like we have, and right. Fear is actually a good thing to have. I mean, it protects us. I mean, fear causes us to take action, right?
Right.
So I think looking back, like when I started in network marketing, I was a 22-year-old stuttering, and I don't stutter, but I stuttered, which is kind of funny. I think it's not maybe not funny, but I stuttered out of pure nerves, right?
Right.
I couldn't even like get the words out. My mouth would get, just all caught. I remember so bad, like this guy. I was working on this office in Long Beach, California, and I was so nervous. And you guys have seen it. What happens when you get nervous? Like your mouth dries up, your palms get sweaty, your heart rate goes up. You have to pee every 2 seconds, even though you didn't drink any water. I mean, it's just the physiological response to fear.
Right.
And I remember talking to this guy, and he's like, dude, he said, will you do me a favor and just take a drink of water? I can't handle you hearing your mouth quick anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. So then after that, I kept like a big bottle of water with like a straw, so I keep my mouth all lubed up while I was talking, so I wouldn't dry my mouth out and sound that was like embarrassing. But whatever. I mean, he called me on it, and it was true. I mean, my mouth is just like, click, 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 and whatever. But I just, fear. Somebody asked me yesterday, I did a leadership training in Vegas here for a group of people, like this top 30 leaders in the company yesterday. And somebody asked me, well, did you ever have fear of speaking? I'm like, hell yeah, I had fear of speaking.
Yeah.
I was scared to death to get in front of a group of people and talk. But I also had a high desire to be successful. And I realized that if I was going to be a leader in this company and be in a leadership position, leaders tend to be in the front of the room. And I wanted to be a leader. And I thought, well, do I want my fear to own me, or do I want to be a leader? Which one do I want to be? And I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be successful. And I was willing to face the fear. And if you face the fear, and it's like, look, people are always looking for the magic bullet. I can sit here and tell you to meditate and pray and, say Om 76 times or do whatever you're going to do to try to push the fear away, or to go read 97 books on fear. And I've read, I have a huge fear book collection, and it all comes down to facing it, in my opinion, like the willingness to face that fear one call at a time, one meeting at a time, one presentation at a time. And each time you do it, it does get easier. It absolutely gets easier. One call, one meeting, one presentation at a time, for sure. I can't hear you. I think you just muted.
Oops, I'm sorry. See, I was trying to look.
You're being polite.
Look, I got nervous. My palms were sweaty. My mouth was getting dry. I need a bottle of water. No, you just said presentation, and I know that there's one part in your book, giving better presentations. If you were to give one tip as to how people could give a better presentation, what would you tell them?
Be mentally present when you're watching other presenters present. I mean, like, don't be on this thing tweeting around while and tuning out. Like, I would sit in presentation. I saw so many presentations. I'll tell you something funny. I'll tell you the story. So, we were doing briefings. So when I first started network marketing, we were doing meetings Monday through Friday, 1:00. So we would do these business briefings. Then Tuesday and Thursday nights at 7 p.m. These are live presentations that we invite people to. And I was in that office. So I was literally at every single presentation, like sitting in the audience, whether I had a guest or not, and being present. And we were taught, like, just look, just because you don't have a guest, you still sit there. Just because you've seen the presentation, you don't start going, you're like attentive, right? And then you're listening. So I'd watched these presentations for like, I don't know, probably 13 months. And then I remember it was either a Tuesday or Thursday night. I remember it was a nighttime briefing because I remember it was dark outside. And we had just done a briefing for about 70 people or something like that. And what we do is we take a break for like 10 minutes and we get the negative energy out of the room. People that don't want to be there, they're like, this isn't for me. And then what we do, what was called a 4 steps getting started training back in the day. And we, show these people how to get started. And during the break, my, the guy that was running the briefings and running the office, this guy, Ben Lampson, was a friend of mine in Long Beach. He goes, "Hey, Todd, catch." And he like chucked something at me. And I'm like, my natural reaction, because it wasn't like a giant brick, was to catch it. And it was keys. And it was the keys to the office. And he goes, "Hey," he goes, "the office is yours. You're doing the 4 steps training. I'm going over to open up Rancho Cucamonga." And he turned around and walked out the door.
I would have died.
I was like, but then I was like, see, here's the thing. That's another thing we do. 2 lessons. Number 1, be present during the presentations, and because you can pick up on a lot. I was ready to do it. Second part was we got to know when to move somebody into a leadership position. I was ready to give the presentation myself to do the 4 steps training. I'd been trained on it. I'd seen it, who knows, probably at least 100 times. I mean, 5 times, let's say an average of 5 times a week, 50 weeks a year. I'd probably seen it, plenty of times, enough to know what to do. It's for 15 minutes. And so I did the presentation. And I mean, I was literally, I'm sure the people in the room, I wish I had that on video. Literally, there was just sweat, like just, I was just, and I'm not even just pouring down my face. And I was like, you could just see you could see the panic. And I'm like, they're like, "Kid, you could do this." They're like egging me on. "You could do it, man." They didn't say this, but I know they were like, you can make it through this, man. You'll live. And I don't think I didn't pee my pants, but I just probably went short of peeing my pants. I mean, I was scared to death, and I soaked through my whole shirt. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly. So bad. But you know what? Now this guy left the office, and I had to wake up the next morning and do the briefing, and then do the 4 steps training. So I did it, and that day I sweated really bad too. And then I did it again. I sweated a little bit less, and my heart rate went down. And then over time, it just kind of went away. And like even like when I did that deal in Egypt last year, I mean, that's a big group. I stood in front of 12,000 people in a full blown auditorium being translated into Farsi, wow. In front of this huge group. I was speaking at 10:30 at night, and I mean, it was raging. This place was awesome. It was just packed. It was so much fun. And, I just walked on that stage, and I didn't have, I had no fear whatsoever. I mean, I've spoken so many times that it's not that I don't have, excitement and probably adrenaline and all of that, but I don't like go into a panic attack anymore. And so same thing with prospecting too. I mean, I used to be really just talking to people was really scared, and you just do it and you do it and you do it and you do it again and you do it and you practice it and you work on it. And if you become, and I think it's important for us as networkers, if you become obsessed with getting good and you actually work on getting good, then, you will get good.
I agree. Cause I'll tell you to this day, even a Facebook Live presentation, I feel my palms. I feel like Eminem, how he's like, knees weak, palms are sweaty. That's me, except for I don't have the vomit on my sweater.
No vomit on the sweater already?
No vomit. But it's just like, no matter what event, stage presentation, I still get nervous. But, it comes down to when we talk about fear again, it's like I had to keep telling myself, just like I keep telling my team, what's scarier, being broke or going to present? I'm the girl who went through the 2 repossessions and the foreclosure. So what's scarier, losing my house or getting told no, or losing a car or getting told no? So that's what I had to keep telling myself. But I think I'd still probably pass out. And you said you were to the point of not peeing your pants yet. I probably would have pissed myself on a stage in front of 12,000 people having to talk and present. So
baby steps.
Baby steps. I'm going to have to take very, very baby steps. So Todd, as we get ready to wrap this up, A lot of people are starting to recruit in their businesses, regardless if it's a product-based business, a service-based business. And, you always hear a lot of people say, once you bring one person into business, you are now considered a leader because you have to lead them somewhere. Mm-hmm. So if they're bringing that one person into business, what is the number one thing that you would tell somebody to make sure that that person is doing to ensure that they're getting started right?
To engage with them, rather than point your finger and say, go make me some money. I know we don't like literally do that. I don't think. I hope you don't. But I think it's really important that the moment that that new person comes in, this is an undeveloped asset on your team. I think it's really important for you to, lock arms with them and work with them. That's a new teammate. So for me, if I got a brand new person, I'm like, let's go, not you go, let's go do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know, and for those of you guys who are watching, I want you to head over to toddfalcone.com, because I remember the other day, or I don't know if it was the other day, I read 2 different blog posts that you had up. And one of them was in regards to staying connected with your team. And you had this nice blog post up where it was like, if you're connecting with your team strictly through Facebook, you're doing it wrong because you're allowing the communications of you and your team to be on a free platform. So, what Todd is saying on that, guys, is pick up the phone, call your people. I believe you even mentioned a team text blast, different little things to stay in communication. So if you believe that you're being connected with your team just via Facebook, I mean, you're listening to a man who has earned over 8 figures in this industry over his course of time, a man who trains 12,000 people at one sitting on a stage, that says, take your relationship with your team outside of just Facebook. Now, one other one that I want to mention that you put up, and I want you to elaborate a little bit more on this, because we talk about people having shiny ball syndrome, but you did a blog post that said, if you peak your week. So can you kind of, I told my husband, I said, he put a blog post up talking about if you peak your week. And I started reading it and I was just laughing my butt off whenever I was reading it. But elaborate a little bit on that blog post about if you peak your week.
Yeah, I think when you make a decision to do your business, you now have your blinders on, and that means you don't go like this. You don't go, what's this over here, or what's this over here. And I did it. I've done it before. I've had somebody say, I made $32,000 my first month, and I was making $5,000 a month, and I'm thinking, well, wait, what is it? What, chipmunk, what or whatever. Squirrel. Yeah, that's right. Squirrel. That's right. Not chipmunk. So when I say the reason I did that post is I think anytime that you, if you play this game, I'll show you mine. If you show me yours, or, you show me your thing and I'll show you mine. Businesses, by the way. I just want to clarify.
Like, then hold on a minute.
But if you do that, the moment you open up that door, you've shown your weakness. You've basically played your card. And now they can get their foot in your door, and they've already gotten their foot in the door by you. It's like, you just showed me your entire hand just now.
Right.
And your hand says, I'm not committed. I don't have faith and belief in what I'm doing. And how do I know that? Because I looked. And so I won't even bother looking. And I think one other thing, and I'll say this kind of on the same subject, but a little bit different, is one of the most important things that you can do as an entrepreneur is learn to say no to things that do not directly contribute to your plan. People are always going to try to get your time and get you to do this, or, you have the amount of demands on me to do this and do that and come here and help this and take a look at this. It's every day I get something, multiple things that people are trying to get me to look at and sell for them or incorporate into but if it doesn't fit into my plan, I don't even look at it. I just say no. And, I know people that have become yes people, and they say yes to everything. And when you say yes to everything, then all of a sudden you have taken yourself completely off of your own plan, and now you're on somebody else's plan.
Absolutely. Because I remember reading it, and you said one of the easiest scripts was to let them know, hey, I really appreciate you, Todd, for reaching out to me, but I'm so focused on my business. I'm so excited about what's going on, but I'm just going to have to tell you no. So it was just pretty much a basic script, just letting them know, listen, I appreciate you. I thank you. I'm focused. We're going, to new levels with this. Super excited. Hey, thanks for reaching out, but I'm not your girl. So Todd, as final part, I want to tell you, I salute you. Like, I honor you. I had the opportunity to go and grab the Fearless Networking System, and I wanted to do it on a test run. And for those of you guys who go to Todd's page, I want you to take a look at his system that he has called Fearless Networker. I'm not here to sell it. I'm here to tell you one thing. Whenever it comes to a follow-up system, Todd, I salute you on this, because I was in there and I was logging some of my contacts in there, and I noticed, like, with my customers, when the follow-up time would start to come, you literally, if this was my first call, you have the script that I need to say to this person when I call them. When I needed to do, a follow-up with this person, you had a script play by play. And I just thank you, because I've never seen a system like that before, where the scripts are there, the emails were there. So it literally takes the fear out of networking or what to say. So I get where you get the title of Fearless Networking. But, you also have something too on your website as well, that you said it was a Recruit Up. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, in fact, well, this Thursday, probably the easiest thing for your listeners is I'm doing another webinar on Thursday night, which is, it's about an hour and 15 minutes in length on this whole idea of recruiting up the socioeconomic chain. So if you really want to understand how to get better at recruiting professionals, I'm going to do a replay from the one that we did this last week on Thursday night. I'll give you the address. It's a free webinar. You can register for free. It's, what is it? ToddFalcone.com, ToddFalcone.com /pros-webinar, PROS hyphen, that's the dash sign, pros-webinar. So that's 7 p.m. Pacific time. Thursday night is the next time I do that webinar. And I would make sure you come and bring a pen and paper and be ready to take some notes. And I go through a pretty intensive training on how to recruit realtors, insurance agents, financial planners, professional people that are more likely to be successful if they choose to do network marketing based on their chosen career paths up until this point. Not that other people can't do network marketing, but it is, definitely involves a little bit of prospect profiling, going after people that have certain character traits and have made certain choices in their life that tend to lend itself pretty well to the network marketing profession. So that's on Thursday night. You mentioned the Fearless Networker system, and we just when we opened that up, we did that so people could take it for a trial. So you weren't like committed to it, but like if you want to take it for a trial, it's ToddFalcone.com /trial, TRIAL, and it is what that is, I'll give you the short version of it and the explanations on the website, but it's just a really great platform to be organized, to follow up effectively, to really be on top of your recruiting and prospecting game. I mean, you can send out a video, for example, to somebody and know whether they opened up and watched it, whether they watched a minute of it or 10 minutes or all of it. You can send these one-touch emails out to someone, one-touch SMSs to, with the click of a button. There's just a lot of things that make it really, really effective in your follow-up, which is super important in this business. Then there's a bunch of training there. All of my Monday night calls from way back in history are in there. There's over 100 video tutorials that we put inside of the system. So there's a lot of other training. I mean, if somebody does end up staying past the 7-day trial, I mean, it's $1 a day for all of the training and everything else that you get. I mean, it's $29.95 a month. We price it at that point so that anybody in network marketing, even if they're just getting started, they're really not making any money yet, they can still afford it. In fact, we had a staff meeting this last week I have people on my staff, why are you charging $29? I'm like, I'm charging $29 a month. We're not doing 90. I got people want me to charge $100 a month for it, which we could probably get. I just don't. I mean, we got other revenue sources for the company. I don't need to. We can keep it low, and it's probably the lowest price point of a marketing system out there that I've seen. And it's and then if you like it, you can stay, and if you don't like it, you're not on any kind of commitment. So.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I love it. So, being in the industry for a little over 3 years, I haven't seen a customer relationship management tool is what I call it, because that pretty much is what it is. It gives you the entire follow-up system. So, all right, Todd, I truly appreciate you, man. You just don't understand. I'm sitting here looking at all the comments in here, and they're like, Todd is amazing, excellent training, awesome. His Monday night prospecting calls are on the money. Great nuggets. Thank you, Todd. So, I know a lot of people truly value you just coming to this live tonight just to share with them. So in closing, do you want to share anything else with them in closing before I wrap it up? Because I know you're in Vegas and it's time to turn up, and we're, I know it's only 6 o'clock there, but it's live 24/7 in Vegas.
Oh no, it's time for the pink party. So there's 3,000 women at the pink party, and my wife just texted me and said,
"Get your ass downstairs."
So I don't know. I mean, look, it's. I guess the last thing I'll say is if you're in this business, I mean, be in this business. Whether if you're part time, even if you're part time, be fully engaged. Treat it like a business. Stay close to the fire. What I mean by that is stay close to the people that are productive and that are active. And because you can, I mean, even in network marketing, you have, and there's a phrase I use all the time on stage: do what the doers are doing, don't do what the don'ters are doing. Ooh. And I know some people like proper English people are like, wait a minute, don'ters not a word. I'm like, I know. Let's go with it. It sounds better that way. Doers and don'ters. Follow the people that are doing and don't follow the people that are don'ting. I mean, it's pretty simple. So, and then the other thing is just exercise patience. This is a journey. It's not it's not this like sprint and then we're there. Success is it's an ongoing journey of ups and downs. You will be challenged. We're all challenged. I mean, I've had some incredibly challenging times in this business, but it makes you a better person with the challenges, your ability to navigate. In fact, this is one of the things I said this leadership training yesterday. One of the most important things that you can do, I believe, is be able to navigate the seas and be able to bounce back from a tough time. I mean, there is no question. Every single person, all of you will be challenged. Yes. Some more than others, but you will be challenged, and you will have days you're like, what? How in the world have you lasted? I've had people come to me after like 2 years, and they get their first challenge, like, Todd, how have you survived? Like, I don't know. I just wanted to be successful in the business, and being successful in the business means that I can't quit on a bad day. So, right. Yeah.
Listen, Todd, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, but I honor you. I celebrate you. I cherish you. And I thank you because, what you've done tonight is just poured a wealth of knowledge into people, got them all jacked out of their mind, excited again, because the comments are going crazy. Tell Carla we send our love and we thank her for her sacrifice too, because she just gave us a little over an hour of your time. So you and I will catch up afterwards once you get back from Vegas, hanging out, chilling, have a few drinks for me, my friend. But definitely, again, thank you so much. And we honor you for everything that you did for us tonight.
Thank you, Candace. I appreciate you. And thanks for all you're doing and bringing great value to the network marketing profession as well. I appreciate it. You guys have a great night.
You too, hon. Bye-bye.
That's it.